We're Max and Oksana, an ordinary couple living an unconventional lifestyle. Over the last 5 years, we've traveled full-time, exploring more than 80 countries all around the world. After spending 2020 living in our self-converted Sprinter van in Canada, we fell in love with the freedom of the van life lifestyle and decided to build another van suitable for a rugged adventure around Australia. Meet our home on wheels Tilly, a 2006 Land Cruiser HiTop Troopy. Today, we're opening up our doors to give you a little tour.
Hi guys, first of all, just want to introduce you to Tilly. She is a 2006 Land Cruiser Troop Carrier, 78 series, as they call it here in Australia. This is a rugged 4x4 vehicle. So we chose this vehicle, a 4x4 specifically, to tour around Australia because a lot of the remote areas that we wanted to visit this time are only accessible by 4x4. So we really thought it was important this time around during our second van build to do something that was 4x4 enabling for us so that we could visit all the places we want without having to worry about the vehicle as much as we do with Benji, our vehicle in Canada. And Land Cruisers are one of the most reliable cars in the world, and they're super sought after here in Australia for their reliability and their low maintenance. So this specific model is a HiTop, so it's a ex-Brits campervan. Brits is a campervan rental company here in Australia, and they retired this by about 5 years ago. We bought it off someone else, and we've completely renovated it into a living camper for ourselves. So we're going to give you a full tour today, show you around every single thing, every single feature, things that we've added, things that help us enjoy our trip on the road. So let's get started. So first off over here, we have a bull bar. So most vehicles that are traveling outside of cities in Australia will have a bull bar. And they're not for bulls, they're for kangaroos. So there are a lot of kangaroos that jump out on the road, not just during the night, but during the day. So this is a safety precaution. So if you're touring in the outback or you're touring anywhere outside of cities, highly recommend that you get a bull bar. Ours came with the bull bar, so that was one less job that we had to do. We've installed a LED light bar. So this will just give us a added boost of light during the night. This is a flood bar, so it gives us huge wide breadth of light. And then we have two spotties here. So these will shoot probably about 1 kilometer down the road, and you can get very good vision at nighttime. We don't drive a lot during the night, but these are there just for safety purposes. We've also installed a small emergency winch. So it's not a full giant winch for extreme 4x4, but it will do the trick for when we get stuck and we don't have anyone else to pull us out. So that's why we installed this little small winch here. Other than that, up here, we got Willie the Wombat. Willie came with Tilly, and we've decided to keep him on and keep him going on our adventures. Last but not least, at the front here, we have our GME radio. So that's just old school radio to contact people when you're in the outback, when there's no cell connection. People typically use radios, CB radios, to contact people. So come around this side. So next up, we replaced the mirrors on the vehicle. So the original mirrors that come on the Troop Carrier are very small. They're about half this size, and it's real hard to see out your blind spot and just to see the whole big rig out the back here. So we replaced them with these mirrors, which are a lot better. Looking inside here, first thing you're going to notice is we got these very awesome accessory. It's the one stone armrest. So they just pop straight on to the frame right here. Like this. They have a little magnet, and they clip right into where your windowsill is, and you push them down, and you have a nice beautiful armrest with a cup holder. So the Troop Carrier is a very basic, and the whole 70 series from Land Cruiser is a very basic vehicle. They don't even have a cup holder in them by standard. So this is a great little addition for us to keep our tea, our coffee, our kombucha if you're Oksana, while on the road. Down here, we just recently added this. These are just two cargo storage nets. Helps keep our drone in place, any papers, check-in stuff for campgrounds, anything like that. So these didn't come there, but they were a quick, cheap buy on eBay that we added, which is great. Over here, we have a dash storage. So before this, it was just a flat vinyl top. And a outfitter out in Perth produced these really cool aluminum lined with carpet dash storage, which gives us a nice big area where we can keep sunnies, we can keep our camera while we're on the road, anything additional, hand sanitizer, anything like that, we can keep up here. It's nice and neat and tidy, and yeah, that does the job there. So next up is our electrical setup. So behind the passenger seat, behind Oksana's seat here, is our electrical setup. So here we have our inverter. It's a 1500 watt sine wave inverter. We have all of our DC hookup fuse box right here. We have a breaker panel. We have some tools to replace the tire if we have to. We also keep power tools and anything else that we need right here. For the actual electrical component systems in the van, we have a 200 amp lithium battery that is stored underneath our fridge. We'll show you our fridge later on. It's just behind this wall here. We also have a 350 watt flexible solar panel that lives on the top of the roof, and that runs through a dual pole breaker right here that feeds into our system. And we also charge our vehicle via a DC to DC charger, which the cables run right here, and they go all the way underneath the hood or the bonnet of the car, where it hooks up onto our battery. It gets charged via our alternator. Inside the hood / bonnet, we also have a second battery. So it's a dual battery system at the front. It's a 100 amp AGM battery in the bonnet there. So that's what we do there. Other than that, that makes up the main core of our electrical system, and that makes up the conclusion for the front here. Before we jump inside and look at the back, the last two things to show you on the outside of the vehicle are our recovery tracks. So these are from when we get stuck in sand or mud. Very popular here in Australia, and we got two of them bolted onto the back here. We have our spare tire, which you can see right here, and then we have a stash bag. So this bag just attaches to the rear tire here, and we keep things like an extra wetsuit, hose, and some other odds and ends here. Nothing too heavy, but just some extra storage on the outside. So let's see what Oksana has to say.
Welcome to our living space. So this is where we spend most of our time living and hanging out inside the Troopy. Come on through, I'll show you around. So as Max already mentioned, this used to be an old bricked camper van. So some parts of the inside were already here before, like this bench seat. But other parts were completely new, renovated, and placed in here during our Troopy build. If you're interested in the details of the Troopy build, we have a couple of links that we've left in the description, so you can check out those videos and see how it all came about. So what we've got here is a big, essentially storage unit where we keep all of our clothing and other items that we use on a daily basis. So I'll give you a peek inside the drawers so you can see how we've organized everything. It's a very small space, so it's very important to keep organization at its best. And I'm a bit OCD, so it's kind of my area of expertise. So first up, we've got a couple of drawers. So this first drawer is used for the items that we use most often. So we've got our tea, we've got some coffee, we've got mugs, cups, spices, cutlery, we've got our placemats here and things that we essentially use on a daily basis. This is Max's favorite little tool. It's a portable espresso maker. Really highly recommended. We'll leave a link in the description. It's something that you can do without any power, and it makes supposedly delicious espressos. Underneath our coffee stash, we've got another drawer where we keep more of our cooking essentials and stuff like that. So we've got our kettle here and some pots. We've got some cooking essentials, oils and spices and things like that. And we also have a stash with all of our plates and other cooking devices. The next few drawers are dedicated to our clothing. So Max has his own drawer, which he uses to keep most of his sort of everyday clothing. We can't store everything in this one drawer, even though it's very deep and it does store quite a bit. So we've got kind of the everyday items stored in here, and then the long-term storage, stuff that we don't really use very often, is under this seat, which I'll show you in a bit as well. So that's his drawer, and that's my drawer. And I've got some toiletries in here and bathing suits and stuff like that. Max mostly just keeps t-shirts and shorts. Underneath, we've got more food and storage space. So down here, we've got these two really great baskets that we actually bought at IKEA, and they keep all of our pantry items organized really well. So we've got all sorts of cooking supplies. We're actually stocked up pretty well right now. We've got probably about 2 to 3 weeks of food in the van, which is crazy to think. It all kind of tucks away into tiny little corners and nooks and crannies. We've got pasta and wraps, and it all sits under here. In the shelf below, we also have some space for shoes, which are currently out because Max is wearing them. So that's a bit of storage space for shoes there as well. The next drawer under here, we have a pretty special drawer that keeps all the essentials. So we've got a couple of food items, crackers and stuff like that. We do have some more shoes stored down here. But the majority of this drawer is actually dedicated to wine. We do like our wine, and Australia has really great wines. So we've got this amazing styrofoam wine cooler that keeps about 6 bottles of wine chilled and at perfect temperature, no matter where we are, in cold climate or in a very, very hot climate. And they pop right back in and stay safe and out of the way when we're traveling. This last drawer is dedicated to our toiletries. So we keep our toiletry bags here with all of our essentials, soaps, towels, and it's easily accessible right under our sink. Just below the sink, once again, is another storage drawer. I call this the ultimate junk drawer. We've got a nice little pull-out drawer storage system here where we keep everything from literally a junk drawer of pens and extra stickies to some toiletries, to some first aid kit stuff, and sunscreen, bug spray, cleaning supplies. We have our vacuum in here, and that's where the bulk of our plumbing actually lives. So for plumbing, as you can see, we do have a sink in the van, and it is a fully functional, operational sink, which is not currently turned on. So we do have a pump that runs off of our lithium battery, and that powers our sink and gives us water. The water runs through a filtration system, so no matter where we fill up, we know that our water is safe to drink, and obviously to do dishes, wash our face, brush our teeth, things like that. We also have a water spout at the very end of the vehicle in our outside kitchen, which I'll show you in a second. So that allows us to be self-contained and not have to rely on external water sources outside. We've got a 55-liter fresh water tank underneath the car. So that's where we keep our fresh water when we fill up. And then all of that just runs through the plumbing system the Max had set up and comes out of this fancy little faucet. One of the best features about the Troopy is that it's got a really cool desk system. So those of you who are not new to our channel and would have seen our first van, Benji, will recognize this little functionality here. We've got slide out desks. So really important for us to have really good desk space because we do work on the road and we spend a lot of time on our computers. This just was not going to be feasible. So we wanted to be able to comfortably sit and work on our computers here in the van in case there was bad weather or cold or wind or whatever, mosquitoes. So these desks are an awesome invention, and they slide in and slide out pretty easily and give us lots of space in the hallway, but also allow us to fully extend them to work comfortably on the computers. So on this side of the vehicle, we've got more storage under the seat, which I'll show you in a minute. But first I wanted to show you our 95-liter fridge. It was really important for us to get a stand-up fridge because it just keeps organization that much easier. And most people in these types of Troopies have a chest freezer and chest fridge, and we just decided against that. So it was really important to get that in. It's nicely securely tightened and screwed into the seat. So it's safe and it keeps a ton of food for us here. So again, like I said, 2-3 weeks of food easily stored in the fridge. So you can have a look inside. It's all somewhat organized. And then we've also got a separate freezer where, you know, we keep all of our longer storage items. On top of the fridge, we have additional storage. Kind of just came about that we ended up having this little bit of space above the fridge. Didn't want to waste it because you don't waste any room inside a tiny vehicle like this. So we use it for everyday items. You know, this is where we keep our eggs, bread, chocolate, you know, the essentials. We also have a pouch with some cords and stuff like that, because as Max was explaining, we've got a full electrical system in the van. So we've got some PowerPoint plugs here where we can hook up our iPhones, our computers, and charge all of our batteries for cameras and gears and stuff like that. I've also mounted a mirror on the back of the fridge, so it allows me to be close to the sink for getting ready, putting on makeup, stuff like that. And we've got these handy lights that come on. They can be actually sensor activated, or you can just push a button and turn them on. So that's, once again, in the morning or in the evenings, really easy to be able to see. This couch is actually a very comfortable couch. So this setup, the bench seat itself, was here before. We ended up pulling it out, completely resanding it, repainting it, and just giving it a fresh new look. We bought 3 separate cushions to go on the couch. They're actually floor cushions, but they fit perfectly into this space, and they're nice and thick, so they're super comfortable to sit on. And they're also really easy to lift up, take out of the van if we needed to get into the bottom. We also got 3 little back cushions that allow us to, once again, be comfy when we're sitting. And once again, we can take them out if we wanted to use it to sleep in the hammock or anything like that. We've got a blanket that we use almost daily. And then one other thing that I wanted to point out is our curtains. So this little shack was already here before, but it came with some pretty ugly curtains. So we ended up buying just a set of IKEA curtains and cutting them to specs. And now we have pretty green curtains coming across here. They have this nice little string that keep them in place, so you can keep them closed and they don't flop around as you're driving, or you can obviously keep them opened. Behind the fridge, you might be seeing a little bit of space there. So we've used that space to store our sort of roll up duffel bags and luggage that we can take out of the van if we're checking into a hotel or something like that we need to leave the van for an extended period of time. So now under the cushions, I'm going to lift up the cushions and show you what's inside. So as I mentioned before, getting into the storage under the seat is pretty easy. All you have to do is just lift up a cushion. It gives you full access to whatever you've got underneath here. Now, it's a bit of a game of Tetris to get everything in here. But like I said, we don't want to waste any space inside the Troopy. So we have stuffed it full of extra clothing items, even some construction materials and more toiletries and a flash, and gosh, there you can see a little bit of our battery, and it's chock full of stuff that we don't access on a daily basis, but it's still easy to access from the top. We can also access all of the storage in the seat from the side here. So we've got 2 little latches that open up and allow you to get some stuff out of the seat storage from the side. So you can do that as well. The back of the Troopy definitely serves as an extension of our living space. We spend a lot of time outside, and this is my outdoor kitchen. So you'll see that we use the back of the doors as a bit of a storage area. So we've got these lovely nets attached to the table. And this is just an addition that we've done recently, and we keep our pan here and spatulas and all sorts of supplies. This table flips down and becomes a table that we cook on. And this is where our cooker lives. Now on this side, we've also got another table, again another netting area for storage, and it's another table that I usually use for prepping, for cutting, and stuff like that. So if you're wondering how we do cook outside, like I said, this is the place where it all happens, and this is where we keep our propane cooker, which actually lives inside the van, under the seat right here. So to set up our cooker, obviously we need some gas. So we've got an external compartment here on the side of the Troopy where we keep our gas tank. So you can see it's a 3.3 liter gas tank that we just take out and set up. Take out and set up right beside the gas cooker. So it's pretty easy to set up, as you can see. Pretty easy to take out. We're ready to cook. Once the cooking is done, we usually eat outdoors because it's nice weather and it's just a great extension of the van. So we'll show you what that setup looks like.
Our outdoor setup always starts by setting up the chairs, as you can see up here. Now you're wondering, how do I get up there? It's pretty high. Well, first of all, we'll start off with the fact that we have this nice little tow hitch step. So this doubles as a tow hitch step, but also a recovery point in case we get stuck. And the reason we need this to get into the back of our Troopy is because we installed some very good suspension. It is a 2-inch lift kit on our vehicle, and it's parabolic springs, which are very good, and it gives us a very comfortable ride, which makes obviously the Troopy very tall. But luckily, like I said, we got this step, so I just step up here, I unbuckle these two, which are luggage straps, like that, and then off go the chairs. They're pretty light, they're only 4.6 kilos. The beautiful thing about these chairs is they are extremely comfortable, which is very key because they're our primary place of seating. So these chairs have a lot of nifty features, which are great. So as I said before, these are the Oz Tent Red Belly chair, and they have these cool hot spots. And the hot spots are these little gel pouches that when you crack them, they get hot and they stay hot for a few hours. And you can put them here in the back, here in the lower back, or in the butt area, and they stay nice and warm. And when you want to renew them, you just throw them in boiling water for about 10 minutes and they recrystallize and they're ready to use. I think 500 times or something like that, which is great. One thing I haven't seen in many other chairs is that you can take your case for them that you had before, and you just roll this up like this, and you can stuff this right into the head area, and it becomes a nifty pillow. And there you go. Nice good pillow, ready to sit down. Have a nice little insulated, stubby beer holder there. Nice little pocket. And then over here, we have two little mesh pockets for anything else that we have, a book, a cell phone, whatever else. But like I said, super comfortable, both chairs matching, and that's where we sit. So on this side of the vehicle, there are a few more things that we want to show you. So first off, we have a 220 volt plug that we can hook up to mains electricity, and that's right here. And we also have two fuel tanks in the Troopy. So this front one here is 90 liters, and this second one here I believe is 50 or 60 liters. So that gives us a lot of fuel, about 150 liters. So when we go in the outback, tons of fuel in the vehicle, which is very good because that means we don't have to carry extra fuel at the back. Up here we have two more things. So we have the privacy shower awning slash toilet awning, which is right here. I'm going to open this for you in a second. And up here we have a water storage and outdoor shower area. So right here, like I just said, we have a shower awning. So this zip opens right here and exposes a nice nifty shower awning. So there you go. So when we're out in the bush and Oksana or myself wants to have a shower, all we do is we open this little guy up like this and like this, and we have a nice little privacy shower or toilet area. Now you might be wondering, where's our toilet? Well, Oksana's just about to show you right now.
So we wanted to make sure that our Troopy is completely self-contained, because a lot of the places where we do want to go, some of the remote areas, ask that you are a very self-sustained vehicle in order to be allowed to camp there. So we have equipped our Troopy with a toilet. It's stored right underneath the seat, just down here, and it's not used very often, but when it is used, we simply remove the two cushions and lift up the full lid, lift up the lid of the toilet, and it's ready to be used.
Typically, when we get into camp and there's lots of sunlight left, or when we're staying somewhere for a few nights, we actually take out our awning. So we have also, by Oz Tent, a Foxwing 270-degree awning. So what you see mostly in North America is the standard awning that comes out about 2 meters and sometimes 2.5, 2 meters wide. But because this is our primary purpose and we want to spend a lot of time outdoor and our kitchen's in the back, we thought it was very important to have a 270-degree awning. So we went with this one, which is very good, and we're going to show you how to set that up right now. So the awning is very easy to set up. You can easily do it with one person, typically myself, not Oksana. And all you have to do is unbuckle it there, unstrap the poles here, lift all 4 poles out, and then slowly make your way around. Go to the first one. Go to the second one. Go to the third one. And the fourth one comes all the way over here. We have a strap that you must hook up to here. And then you tighten it like this. And voila, there you go. The awning is almost self-standing, but they do recommend that when you're staying somewhere for a long time or when it's windy, it comes with some very nifty aluminum poles and some tie-down pegs just to keep everything nice and sturdy and in place. Next thing we gotta do is pull out our nifty aluminum table. And once this is all set up, we can just sit back and relax until dinner time. Enjoy the birds flying by and watch a beautiful sunset. On the outside, just up here, we actually have some outdoor lights as well. So they are LED lights. They actually are dual lights, so they actually show both white light and amber light. And the amber light is used for not attracting mosquitoes and bugs. So we usually typically turn those on at nighttime when we're hanging out here, eating dinner, or anything like that. Obviously it's daytime, so you're not going to be able to see them that well though. Well, before I get too comfortable in this seat, we forgot to show you one more thing, and that's where we sleep in the Troopy. So we're going to go inside and we're going to go check out on Oksana and show you guys where we sleep. Hey Oksana, where are you?
I'm up top. This little nook at the top of the Troopy is where we sleep. So it's not a lot of space, but it's actually pretty comfortable. We kept the original mattress that came with the camper van, but added an additional 2 inches on top of the mattress. And this is a latex mattress that makes this bed super comfortable. We have also added a duvet that keeps us cozy on cold nights and actually pretty warm and comfortable on hot nights as well. Up top, we also use this space for a little bit of storage. So sometimes we keep our warm sweaters here and other items that we're not using throughout the day. Up here, just above my head, you can see that we also have a Maxxair fan. So this is obviously a very handy feature on hot days throughout Australia. So we turn it on by using the controller down at the bottom, and it sucks the air in and pulls the air out to help ventilate the Troopy. Also inside the nook, we actually usually sleep with our heads the other way. So you'll be seeing our feet down here when we sleep. So all the way in the back where our heads are, we've got 2 separate sides equipped with USB portals. So we've got a space to plug in our phones, our watches, our iPads and stuff like that. And we also have 2 mesh pockets where these electronic devices can be stored. So that keeps everything organized when we sleep.
Thanks a lot for joining us on our Troopy tour, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed our tour and enjoyed what we have built here. As always, if you have any questions, please go to the comment section below and leave us your question and we'll get back to you. Anything that has to do with the build or features, if we missed anything out, just hit us up down below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. If you're more interested about the actual build of the Troopy, in the description below, we're going to have a bunch of links to the different process that we took to build this. It was a pretty quick build for us, so unlike our luxury van in Canada, which took us about 3 or 4 months, this actually only took us about 3 weeks to renovate. So it was a lot simpler of a job, but still fully capable, as capable as our vehicle in Canada. So like I said, hope you guys enjoy. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe below. Click the little bell icon so you get notified of future videos that we have. And if not, we'll see you next week.
Cheers to another beautiful day in Australia.